Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. We're big, we're bad, we're back. I'm not dressed in black, I'm in maroon at Spitfire Studio Mark II, numero dos. So we have the Fluid Image 2s. That's the Fluid Audio Image 2s. Now we tried some Fluid stuff out a few years ago. It was pretty cool. And then we went to NAMM beginning of the year, February-ish, and heard the new stuff. I thought it was rather wonderful. And so we got the speakers here. So here they are. They're in position. Now, if you've seen any of the new videos we're doing, we're starting to record these with a pair of Earthworks M30s. Now, it's still going to be, you know, the sound of our room and all that stuff, but it will give you an idea how they sound. We'll record them each the same every single time so you can compare things back to back. So that'll be fun as well. Now, what we know about the Image 2s is that they are 225 watts a side, we believe, and they have an AMT tweeter, which is, you know, you probably know from like Adams and Eves and other ones. It's a ribbon tweeter, but maybe a little bit more sophisticated. Ribbon tweeters tend to be smoother sounding, not quite as harsh as typical metal tweeters, except for maybe, you know, a beryllium tweeter or something, which you see in the Focals. Those are metal, but very, very smooth. If you're not spending $10,000 on tweeters, I'm joking, but AMTs are pretty tasty to get a smoother high end. Now, they've got the radiating speaker on the side. It's something I have on some of my Focals. I know Barefoot use them, and it's, you know, it's been around for a little bit now. I don't always love it, but I'm prepared to give this the benefit of the doubt. It's got one on each side. Like I said, I heard the speakers in NAMM, or at NAMM, I should say, and we really liked them, didn't we, Eric?
We loved them.
Yeah. So now we've got them in the room. They come with a little foot switch. So you can turn off the low lows with the foot switch and put it into this cube mix mode. Now, so it's got two 8-inch bass drivers on each side. And we think the mix cube must turn those off. So you just hear what looks like a 5-inch driver, or was it a 4-inch driver, 4 or 5-inch driver, maybe a 4.5-inch driver. That with the ribbon tweeter. Now, that's an interesting thing. They call it a mix cube. Probably because they're going for something like we've got over there, like an Auratone speaker. Some people like to listen to it like that to just see what it would work like on other devices that don't have super low lows. So, you know, we can listen back to it like that. Obviously, we're in a really great room, Jay Kaufman designed room that sounds fantastic. So, you know, I trust everything that's going on, but you can use it to check what it might sound on a crappy pair of earbuds or an old TV speaker, all those kinds of things. You know, it's also nice to have one pair of speakers in one position where you are sitting perfectly, so used to the sound of them, and then the flick of a switch, hear what it would be like without the super low lows, without having to like affect, you know, oh, these speakers are wider, these speakers are closer together, you know, the sort of things you do when you have multiple sets of speakers. And also, you know, there's a lot to be said for multiple speakers next to each other can cause issues, especially when you've got a pair of 8-inch drivers on either side pushing out low lows. So let's give them a listen. We'll hear it with and without the cube on, my reactions, how I feel about them, and then you can just listen to them on your own. We're going to set up the pair of M30s, the Earthworks M30s. We'll hear it with and without the 8-inch drivers on the side, so with the mixed cube setting. Also, we did use Sound ID with this. Sound ID comes with a 90-day free trial with this. So you can calibrate it for your room if you like it. I suppose you buy it after 90 days if you fall in love with it and love the way it sounds. I will say in this room, and the way these 8-inch drivers are throwing out to the sides without the calibration on, there's a lot of low end, like a lot. So maybe we'll give you a taste in the video what it's like uncalibrated. I mean, these things are small, but they put out a schnizzle ton of low end. So I don't think that's going to be an issue when it comes to mixing. I think, you know, with some of the smaller drivers, some of the smaller speakers, you know, you might want to put a sub on. My guess is that you won't need a sub with this. Obviously, you can store the Sound ID setting on the speaker itself. It's becoming a thing now where, you know, you measure it using the software, and then with a USB stick, just dump it into the speaker, and off you go. So let's give it a listen. We'll do the old favorite here. Going to play How to Save a Life. I like this for multiple reasons. One being foot pedal.
Step one, you say we need
Another one, I recorded it, so I know it.
You say sit down, it's just talk. He smiles politely.
This has always got a little bit of on the vocal. So if you hear that when you listen back, whatever speakers I use, I've always got a little bit of air on the top, a little 7K. Before the bass comes in here, the kick should be very, very defined. It's very smushy in the high mids. There's this guitar line, electric guitar line, that you need really good definition to be able to hear in the choruses. So listen out for that. We use the song a lot in the test, so, you know, that might be a good comparison. You've seen the video we did where we had like 5 or 6 different pairs of speakers. Okay, so I'm going to go to the end of the song and listen to the drums at the end. I had this studio for like 12 years. So I know the sound of this room really, really well. It's really useful for me when I'm listening to one speaker to another to be able to reference what's something I know very well. Okay, so pretty darn good. Great low end. Now, that is with the calibration enabled. What's interesting in this room, depending on the speakers, you usually get a dip at about 90, you know, because of this. So those side address, whatever you want to call them, those 8-inch drivers on the side, are giving us a really, really kind of nice low end. I mean, look, it's a really good room. So if you ignore the excessive or extra, I should say, low end that it's producing, it's pretty darn flat. You know, that's the thing about this room. The room's flat relatively, and the speakers are relatively flat. So all it's doing is correcting this extra low end that's giving. So if I turn on the calibration, it's done a little bit of a boost here to kind of, lots of people like, I wouldn't say a curve, but they like a half dB up on the lows and a half dB cut at the highs. I've seen a lot of that kind of angle coming down. But this is flat as a pancake, and that's what we just listened to. I mean, obviously we know it's a good room, but pretty much from like 200 to about 20K, it's pretty flat. I mean, these movements here are negligible. And then you put the calibration on, they're just doing some cuts there and flattening it right out. It's really nice. Very, very nice. Quite impressive. I mean, without the calibration on, it's going to be massive low end if I just go and... Yeah, that's like low end-tastic. So quite frankly, like I was saying a minute ago, these are speakers that you are not going to need a sub with. So if you want sort of a high fidelity, detailed mid-range, and you want low end that you can control depending on your room, I think these might be the ones. Pretty tasty, pretty tasty. I do really enjoy the mids on this. There's something about AMT tweeters that I really like. I think the Eve speakers have great AMTs. I think Roland designed those for both Adam and Eve. And it looks like Fluid are smart to do that too. I think the first ones we ever tried, weren't they like a dual concentric? I think they were. And I liked them, but they seem to lack a bit of the high mids. They've completely solved this now. They've got some lovely high mid detail, and with those drivers on the side, those 8-inch on either side, they have really solved low end issues. And like I said, typically in this room, I expect to see a bit of a dip at 90, not a bit of a boost. So it means with the Sound ID software, we're able to cut that area and flatten it out. Really good. And there's something nice about doing cuts as opposed to boosts, because then you're not reducing the dynamic range of the speaker quite so much, like forcing frequencies through it, and suddenly the overall volume doesn't get there. So it's a good sign, really good sign. So let's check out the pair of M30s in the room, and we'll play it to you with the calibration on, of course, and you can have a listen for yourself. Let us know what you think down below.
Step one, you say we need to talk. He walks, you say sit down, it's just talk. He smiles politely back at you. You stare politely right on through some sort of window to your right. As he goes left and you stay right between the lines. after all you do know best. Try to slip past his defense without granting innocence. Lay down a list of what is wrong, things you told him all along. Pray to God he hears you, and pray to God he hears you. And where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I put out later with you one night, and I know how to save a life. As he begins to raise his voice, you lower yours and grant him one last choice. Drive until you lose the road, a break with the ones you follow. He will do one of two things. He will admit to everything, or he'll say he's just not the same, and you'll begin to wonder why you came. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I put out later with you one night, and I know how to save a life. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I put out later with you all night, and I know how to save a life. How to save a life. How to save a life. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I put out later with you one night, and I know how to save a life. Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend somewhere along in the bitterness, and I put out later with you all night, and I know how to save a life. How to save a life. How to save a life.
So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, Fluid, for sending us these speakers. We did enjoy hearing them at NAMM, so it's nice to be able to get hold of a pair and see how they feel in our room. I'll be honest, they perform really, really well. I think the most impressive thing for us is the fact that there's more low end than you need, that you can then control with the Sound ID. And frankly, yeah, I mean, what's it going down to here? It's going 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40. I mean, 40, it's pretty strong. And even down like 35, it's still at 0 dB, still at 0 dB. So the cut here, yeah, I mean, yeah. With this reading here, you're going to get like 30, 35 hertz flat as a pancake, you know, with the amount of low end it's putting out. So unless you really, really need that 20 hertz subbiness for your ultra 808 stuff, I think you're going to be more than happy with just a pair of speakers with no need for a sub. Great work. Thanks, everyone. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, adios, goodbye.